So I will just say it again, so to make sure we are registering it. Thank you very much to the organization for the invitation, for accepting my talk, and also now for all the support you're giving right now. Please use the link you see on the left side to add me as a contact on LinkedIn. It will be an honor to get in contact with you, and then we can keep talking around that. I'll try to finish on time and leave a few minutes at the end for questions. So I hope we can keep the conversation going later on. Very important, as we know, we are all going through difficult times, and in Brazil that's not different. So SAP is supporting own energy that is designated to or is trying to make it better the life of people and decrease the famine problem we have in Brazil. So if you want more details, just take a look on the link you see below, or scan the QR code, and with the QR code you could do your donation. Any figure is welcome. That's mine, just a kind of to set the tone, the example that I'm supporting as well. If you want to invite someone speak Portuguese, for example, we'll have a session later today at 6 p.m. Brazil time. Okay, today we are talking about data management solutions in time of the experience economy. And what I mean by that is we are trying to establish first what the experience economy is, then typical challenge this presents to us from a data management standpoint, then how does common architecture could look like to address those challenges, and then finally a few of key components we could be using to address those challenges. Legal disclaimer, just because I'm a SAP employee, so you should not take purchase decisions based on this challenge. If anything you see here looks interesting, just get in touch with your SAP contact and keep the discussion going there. I work for SAP since 2011, so just after SAP HANA has been launched. And now, currently, the best way to describe my current role is I understand customers' challenges and opportunities, and I try to come to a technical solution for those problems and opportunities. Okay, starting the discussion. So, of course, things are changing very fast, and I'm talking fast even before the COVID-19 crisis started, right? So we see change everywhere, in technology, for example. So we see new as part of our daily lives. And I think one good example is I just bought to my kid a submarine that, wireless submarine, kind of a droid, if you will, that can go very deep underwater, very, very affordable, let's say, something which is was not present and not possible in the past. On the services side, of course, we see a huge increase on delivery services on restaurants, for example. And as example, we see here on the screen, telemedicine is also fact currently, even before the COVID, but now even in Brazil, for example, it is allowed, and you are supposed to look for telemedicine even before going to the doctor. And as everybody here know, working from home, you save a lot of time on movements, going from one side to the other. So this helps a lot to increase the possibilities you have to give services to your customers. On the communication side, I think one good example I could give you, last Sunday, it was Mother's Day in Brazil, and I could talk to my grandmother. She's 85 years old, and she could handle the mobile very well. She could handle the whole experience of the video conference very well. I mean, we are doing the SAT virtually first time, right? So I've done it a couple of years back, and now we're doing it virtually as well. That's kind of commonplace now. Industries have changed a lot, even very traditional industries like car manufacturing companies, for example, with Tesla, they are changing not only the product itself, like okay, we have an electric car that could self-drive, by the way, but also the product development. So the sensors are capturing information all the time, and for example, they could decide for replacing a provider of a specific spare part just because it's more resilient for certain circumstances, or they could change, for example, the correlation between the pedal and the brake power to adjust for more comfort to the user. And of course, they can also make a product more safe, right? For example, if you're changing lanes, the car can tell you, you should not do it now because there's a car coming you didn't see before. We, as people, we have been impacted for all this at the end because we have to live in this new scenario. And I think now we see even very close generations having habits we didn't have before. So my daughter-in-law, no, my goddaughter, she uses Instagram in a very different way than I do. So for me, Instagram is one profile where I post a few pictures of food and a few pictures of my running habits. She has like I don't know, 5 different profiles, one for each kind of persona she has. Like, so she has one for school stuff, one for family, one for traveling, one for dancing. And so she, although both of us, we have the same technology available and experience available, we choose to use it in a different way. And of course, we could go even further with TikTok, for example, which is a new generation kind of phenomenon, right? That we, the older of us, don't relate that much. And of course, everything has to be with expectations. And the expectations we have in relation to technology also change the way we see it and the emotions it causes on us. I have a very short video that talks about the amount of emotions this change could cause on us. Let's see. I see Seat Guys also was live, so I'm also sorry for that. Okay, so this is a quick question. So I was saying the emotions are a key component of the whole discussion with in the business environment, right? So I've created this very short anonymous survey just to feel the mood of the audience here. So how do you feel about right now? I can share with you, I feel a little bit frustrated for all the problems we had, and the storytelling couldn't go that well. Sorry for that. Anyway, if you while you are answering that question, that short survey, so while I'm talking about emotions, right, which is a kind of something new for the organizations to consider, and also the challenge it presents, it's important not to forget that most companies still struggle to have an innovation strategy and a business strategy that converge in order to generate value. When I say value, I mean really dollars, right? So we want to actually, I don't know, increase revenue or reduce expenditure or something like that. We also see most of the customers lack understanding on how to spend the money. So when we say innovation, a lot of people think about machine learning, data lake, sensors, IoT. But the question is how to pick the right project, the one that will bring most values to your company. Of course, every time we try to address a spot problem or opportunity, we generate a very complex landscape. And at the end, it ends up at the CIO hands to kind of solve it somehow or try to solve it somehow. And then, of course, companies would like to do a more quick adoption, so they would like to test it faster and get it working somehow, but we know that because of the landscape complexity and several other factors, it's not that easy to start usually innovation projects. And of course, they have to do all this innovation that are the demands of the current situation and still keep lights on. So they still need to be efficient, deliver, be able to sell, be able to transactional stocks, and so on and so forth. So everything has to work while we do innovation and while we take care on emotions, right? And we are struggling with a problem which is 40 years old, right? So I'm not that old, but since I started with BI and analytics stuff, we have been handling operational data somehow, right? So since I started back in 2004, so we talk about win rates in marketing campaigns. We talk about, of course, inventory turnover, financial data like balance sheets and DSOs and stuff like this, employee attrition, profitability, and cart abandonment. Okay, e-commerce was not that famous at that moment, but currently, I mean, that's a common measure. And I think everybody can relate, and all the companies I've been talking to, in a way or another, maybe sometimes it's not really integrated, but they are able to address this kind of data. But making a link again with the 27 emotions we had seen earlier, and when we include experience and feelings or emotions on the discussion, that's not that easy, right? So we are not interested only to know about how much I've sold to a specific customer, but I want to know how satisfied this customer is. I'm not only looking for what's inside the cart of a customer, but I'm also looking to understand which kind of intent is behind that purchase. Is it a purchase that expresses a political view, for example? Is it a purchase that displays, for example, a fear, like an insurance or something like that? Employee engagement, also very important, very hard to measure, but we know that every time we increase employee engagement, we increase profitability on the bottom line. Product feedback, as I mentioned about Tesla back there, net promoter score, who are my promoters and who should be taken care, and brand perception. When I put both things together, I have a very powerful view of the organization. On this chart, you see the same circle. In the inner part of it, you see the operational data, so stuff we are very used to work with. And in the outer part of the circle, you see the experience data. So I've created a few elements here. For example, human resource. Of course, on the operational side, you want to measure payroll, benefits, training records, and attrition rates. But then on the experience side, you want to complement that information with effectiveness, which is different from productivity, knowledge, and satisfaction, because you want to know if this person will keep working for your company in the future, right? On the marketing campaign, for example, of course you want to know how much you've sold, how was the marketing spend, to do the cart analysis and all, but you also, as we discussed, want to understand emotions that drive purchase decisions, or how the persona look like as an overall, and what are the motivations that bring that person to your store. To give you a concrete example, so this one is from Philips. What they've done is they've changed a little bit their business model. So now they have the option not only to sell lamp bulbs, but also to sell the light of a certain environment. So imagine you have a office space that you don't want to buy 300 or 400 of lamp bulbs, but actually you want to pay for the lights on the environment, and it's a mixture, of course, of what you can measure with IoT sensors, like how many lumens can I project on this room, but also how comfortable people are doing whatever they intend to do on that space. So if they're working, of course, they need a bright light, a lot of visibility. If it's a dining space, maybe a different type of light is required. If it's a reading or relaxing room, then it's even a different type. So they are adjusting it, and of course that's good for the consumer and the customer, because he or she is paying for what he's using and what he's perceived as value, which is at the end the light in the room. And also for Philips, because they're charging for the value added, right? Not only for the lamps, but the services they provide as well. A closer example of everyday life is Tetra Pak. They use it the combination of experience data and transactional data basically in two moments. The first one, they use operational data to do maintenance on their plants, and after do predictive maintenance, know when they have to touch each machinery and stuff like this. They also do a survey and analyze people working with those machines to understand, was it efficient, was it not, so does it last until the next maintenance period, or do we have to do it beforehand or afterwards? So they want basically to understand which other components impact besides the ones they can measure with sensors. Right? And then on the other stream, they use it as well for understand how their product achieve the real end users. So they are doing kind of surveys with people that receive the Treta Park package to understand, was it damaged, does it contains the product inside in the way it should, was it cold, was it damaged or something like that. So they can also include it on the development of new package in the future. So as I will share the material with you later on, I have also added a few other use cases you can see here for product development, event feedback, website feedback, employee training. And if you have questions or suggestions, again, reach out to me and we can keep the discussion going. So now that we have understood, and I know it was a little bit broken history because of the technical issues we had, but basically we have went through, things that are changing from the operational side and from the experience side. We have went through the emotions that we as human beings relate to each of one of those changes. Then we went through a few of use cases that we can use the combination of experience data and operational data. Now, of course, the question will be, how does SAP address those scenarios, right? I think everybody have already seen kind of a similar image like this one. That's kind of SAP vision on how to address the experience economy, the double infinite signs, as we say. So on the right-hand side, you have the operational data. By operation, I mean all the transactions we are used to work with, like how much I sold, how much I paid, how many goods do I have in stock and stuff like that. So here I see clearly S4HANA, C4HANA, Ariba, Concur, SuccessFactors, and many other third-party tools and solutions. On the left-hand side, I have the experience management data, which is Qualtrics getting data out of the employees, of customers, brands, and products to kind of feeding the organization with that. And then in the middle, we see the intelligent solutions, right? That basically glue everything together. And these intelligent solutions basically split in 4 different dimensions. One, clearly with analytics solutions, where I have data warehouse, I have SAC, I have so exploration tool, but basically to get insight out of data. Then I have the intelligent technologies like machine learning, RPA, and stuff like this. Then I have database and data management capabilities, so the ability to store data in huge volumes like data lakes or big data and stuff like this. Then I have the ability to develop a new solutions or extensions and to integrate everything together. And what you see on the right and left hand side are just kind of pointing out that our vision is also that this permeates the whole enterprise, which means I also have analytics within experience management tools, and I also have predictive analytics within S4HANA, for example. It's not isolated. We are not talking about solutions here or tools here. We are talking about the vision we have. When I try to combine or to drill down on this vision already in a first level of architecture, and for those of you working with architecture, you know what I mean. For those of you not working like normally with architecture, usually we work with layers in architecture, right? So level 0 is like more conceptual one or high level one. Then we go drill down to level 1 with more details, level 2 with more details, and so on. So here is like a link from that ideal, that vision SAP has, with something already with some components of the architecture. As I said, On the left side, experience management, with the 4 biggest entities we deal with when we're talking about experience: customer, products, employee, and brands. And then on the right-hand side, the transactional systems, the system of records, we call it. So there you will see S4HANA, you see C4HANA, Ariba, and so on. Of course, they're grouped in process, right? So network and spend management. Then you could see, for example, Ariba, Concur, and others. Digital core, clearly S4HANA, manufacturing and supply chain, digital supply chain, and so on. And of course, some other tools. And in the middle, the business technology platform, which is kind of, when we abstract if it's on-prem or the cloud, that's where HANA is on-prem, but also SCP, our SAP Cloud Platform, and HANA Cloud Platform. Actually, if you want more details about HANA Cloud Platform, just a hint, yesterday Hic Pinto did a session on that. It was very, very interesting one, by the way. Then when I drill down on the architecture, here I see a level 1 architecture. So you see, I'll try to locate you guys on this. So on the right side of the screen, in the bottom, you see a green box where you still see customer, supplier, and employee. So those are the people or the personas that are interacting with your company and from where you are pulling experience data. So that's why you see in the middle experience assessment and Qualtrics. So we are bringing with every interaction we have with customers, suppliers, and employees, we are trying to capture a little bit of experience, how they feel, what they like, what they don't, what was good, what was not. That's kind of the, almost if every time you interact with one of those, you get like a Uber assessment, right? So is it a 5-star, is it a 2-star, is it a 3-star? If it's a 2-star, why was it? How could we improve it? And so on and so forth. And now, of course, you already see a glimpse of analytics tool here. So I have positioned SAP Analytics Cloud that would then be able to combine data from the experience management we see here, but also with the transactional side and documents. We'll come to that later on. And then, of course, on the left-hand side, you see the business user, so someone sitting inside our company, which is also an employee, of course, but this person is then interacting with the customer, with the systems, right? And they're entering their data into the transactional systems, and this again is flowing through the SCP and integration layer together with experience. And of course, every time you talk about experience data and transactional data, somehow there will be documents involved, right? Be it, like for example in Brazil, that after the invoice you still have a nota fiscal, which is a different document, or it could be a picture, something like, I did a maintenance, so I want a picture. So for example, to find things on this architecture, just to express what I mean, let's imagine that we are in a retailer business. We are inside a retail store, and a customer enters your store. Let's imagine that the salesperson takes a picture somehow, either via camera within the store or with a mobile phone, of that customer which is just entering the screen. Let's assume all the GDPR stuff is clear, right? So we did it right, properly. But anyway, we take a picture. So the picture is, of course, is unstructured data. This will flow through the integration services. Will run through probably data intelligence, through machine learning, and recognize a customer. So it will be a identified customer, and of course then we can run some algorithms on the transactional system to find, do a basket analysis and propose a certain list of probable products that this person would be interested in on looking to. And then of course we could set a flag with experience management. We could recognize emotions and, for example, understand that this person, although this person just entered the store, she or he is in distress. And we know upfront that people in distress don't buy our products. People that buy our products are usually excited about it. So maybe before offering a new services or a new product, we could offer a coffee and a chat a little bit. We are in Brazil at the end, so it could be a little bit friendly and get this person a little bit more comfortable, and then set the mood from distress to excitement, and then offer the product increasing then the chance that the deal will be completed, right? That's why we position all this here. And then for the more techie people, I have added kind of 2 more layers of integration architecture here, which is basically showing then the components within the tools. So on the I think the purple box here, we see Qualtrics, and here all the not all, but the main components of Qualtrics. So you see, for example, the employee hierarchy using integration with getting data out of C4 in this case, or the customer database also accessing C4, so Hybris, the old Hybris. Then you see in the bottom part the feedback database and so on, everything talking to SAP Cloud Platform to be able to consume other APIs. And this could evolve that everything goes through SAP Cloud Platform, and then we are using master data from master data management, for example, S4, combining transactional data with outside APIs and other stuff like this. So that's kind of a view on architecture, and then just a highlight on a few of the tools. So if you never saw Qualtrics before, the QR code and the survey I asked you guys to answer, that was based on Qualtrics. The evaluation we do, like kind of Uber style, also could be incorporated in Uber, in Qualtrics. It has basically 4 components. Of course, record all the experience data, provide analytics and insights out of this data, be an enterprise-wide application, meaning guarantees compliance and governance, and then of course be a system of action. So what do I do with this information just gathered, right? So I have to do something with it. Then, as we have said, business technology platform. Of course, this has to be a multi-cloud solution, so it can run in every major hyperscaler we have in the market currently. It has the ability to do multi-cloud virtualization, can be portable, right? You could start on Microsoft Azure and then port it to Google Cloud, for example, or keep it SAP. But I think what I want to highlight here is what you see in blue are the level 0 capabilities, let's say. So the business technology platform has database, data management, analytics and predictive, integration, intelligent business, and app development experience. So those are the level 0 capabilities, and of course we could drill it down, and then within the database, of course, we have to store transactional and analytic data, but also we have to have the capability to do a data lake. And then when we go to analytics, of course we have to do analytics, but also predictive and planning. We have to do governance, which means we also have to do anonymization, for example, to be GDPR compliance. When we come to intelligent services, we would have to do RPA, for example, or machine learning, stuff like this. So I think just to give you an overview, and within that framework, the business technology platform, I think the key component you should consider is SAP HANA Cloud. I think again, that's where the magic will happen. That's our SAP HANA offer on the cloud. Again, if you need more information, reach out to me or take a look on Henrique Pinto's speech from yesterday. He had also the session in Portuguese and in English. But you see basically every major engine you had in SAP HANA before on the cloud, metadata, caching, federation, of course in-memory processing, doc processing, graph engine, spatial engine, text search. It also has a relational data lake. Predictive analytics is on the roadmap, not yet there, but it is on the roadmap. And the very interesting thing is it's scalable, so and elastic. So you could start very small and grow it as you need. And on top of this, we have 3 applications. SAP Analytics Cloud can use this, SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, and Data Intelligence. Kind of when we drill it down, talk about Data Warehouse Cloud, that's our data warehouse application on the cloud, where you could use it on the experience management solution. That's the place where you could give to your super user, for example, the ability to combine data from Qualtrics, from experience management, for a spreadsheet he or she just got from an external provider, plus C4 data, and within a space, which is a space that you as an administrator give to your super user. He or she can play around with the data, combine it, merge it, change it, enhance it, and then make it available for additional exploration. Everything controlled and governed in a single place. And of course, once it is there, then you could use SAP Analytics Cloud, which is our flagship analytics solution for Explore and Insights. As you probably know already, SAP Analytics Cloud has kind of three pillars: business intelligence capabilities, planning, and augmented analytics, which means by augmented analytics, there are machine learning algorithms embedded on it. So you don't need to develop a forecast. You could just right-click and ask, based on current sales, how do I finish the year? And then this will just project a forecast for the rest of the year. And it also can guide you to do a guided analysis. What are the outliers? What's the biggest offenders of these results, and so on and so forth. And of course, there are extensions for Digital Boardroom, Analytics Hub, which is kind of analytics portal to all the analytics you have on the company. And last but not least, we have the data intelligence. This is really to create or develop data-driven applications. So the example I gave you within the retail store, that would be a clear example of data intelligence application. So I could use it to build and get the picture data, run the machine learning algorithms to recognize the person and the mood, and then combine it with another machine learning to get the basket analysis and the product recommendation, and then provide it mobile to the salesperson. So this is actually where you move data around in multi-cloud environments. So you have a piece of it in experience management, a piece of it in Azure, a piece of it in SCP, a piece of it within your on-prem environments, and then it brings all together, orchestrate it, govern it, and provide to the end user. Now, almost at the top of the hour, I just want to take a quick look on the survey. If someone has answered it already, while you write down your questions, maybe, then I can try to answer a few of those questions. If I don't have the chance to answer your questions, please just drop me a line later on. So I see a few answers. So most of the people, so when are you looking for a new product or service? Which element is more important to you? Experience, yeah, of course. Nobody wants only one dimension, so you want the full package. And then another question we had here from a business standpoint: what is more important, operational data, experience data? So most of the people said operational data. I think this reflects the reality today, but I do see there will be a trend to change in the future. And then on how people feel, few people are feeling calm and a few are craving. I hope you can get some chocolate there to get the cravings under control. Yeah, Q&A, my contacts here. So let's see if I can see all the technical problems we had, and I hope to talk to you soon. Just drop me a line. Thank you very much. Bye bye.